Hi, welcome to This Week in Property. I'm Jayashree Kurup. I'm editor MBTV. I have with me Prabhakar Sinha. He's the real estate editor of the Times of India. Work has begins on all Amrapali projects except one that is also shortly likely to start. And discussing this, what are the ins and outs, answering consumer queries today, we have Kumar Mihir. He's the Amrapali Case lawyer and advocate on record in the Supreme Court. There's Kaushal, who is an Amrapali buyer, represents the buyer community as well. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Prabhakar, you want to start, set the ground?
Yeah, this is a great news, Jayashree. Basically, for real estate sector in NCR region, the whole as a whole, this is a very good news, and I believe this will help now, at least giving customers some confidence in buying in the property market. And I believe if the Supreme Court, the way they have handled this whole project, that gives lot of hope that other projects will be also taken up in the right earnest and will be completed. So it's a great move. But let's find out the nitty-gritty of this project.
Sure. Mihir, 260 crore deposited by the consumers, another 5 crore given by the banks, which means that a sizable sum of money has come into the projects from the consumers. Help us understand the implications of this.
Yes, in fact, the process is ongoing every day. On an average, about 5 to 7 crore is coming now. From buyers, the banks have started disbursing. So the 5 crore amount that you're saying is what the banks had already disbursed till the last date of hearing. And hopefully the flow will increase, because during the last hearing, the receiver informed the court that there are about 16,000 loan accounts which are operative in case of Amrapali buyers. And a total sum of about 1,238 crore is what the banks have to disburse. So out of which only 5 crore has come till now. So a sizable sum will come. And the whatever is the requirement of NBCC that they need, the money that they need to sustain the work that they have started in all these projects, that requirement will be fulfilled. On top of it, now the receiver and the MSTC have given their schedule and the action plan for sale of Amrapali assets also to the court. And in that action plan, they have informed the court that they are going to sell all the Amrapali assets by March next year. So if that happens, then I'm sure the funding requirement of NBCC will be taken care of.
Okay. Right. Mihir, another thing is that the court has allowed consumers to, if they don't want to continue, if they find a buyer, they can sell. What is the implication of that?
Yes. So what was happening is lots of people were getting phone calls asking where people used to were asked that if they are willing, they can transfer their assets or their allotment to someone and get out of Amrapali. So we don't know whether these phone calls were being sent or were from genuine people or fraudulent people, etc. So lots of complaints or inquiries went to the receiver's office. In fact, receiver office employees also got some phone calls where they were also asked that if they have an asset in Amrapali, they can, and whether they will be willing to transfer it or they want to get out of Amrapali best. So, so in order to save people from these fraudulent elements, we don't know whether they were fraudulent or not. But believing that there were too many problems with Amrapali, and so it was thought, and receiver pointed out to the court that this is what was happening. And in order to generate consumer belief in these projects, he proposed to allow this pre-registration transfer of allotments by buyers. So what has now been proposed is that if the buyers have a genuine buyer for their allotment, they can transfer their allotment even before the flat is completed and registration is done. So even at the pre-registration stage where the flat is yet to be completed, the buyers are free to transfer their allotment. subject to the conditions that the court has imposed and which the receiver has now uploaded on his blog. Uh, the buyers will have to pay a certain amount as the transfer fee, which is some 200 rupees per square feet for Noida and 150 rupees per square feet for Greater Noida. The inter se agreement has to, between the buyer, allottee of Amrapali and the prospective buyer will have to contain certain clauses which the receiver has pointed out on his blog. And they're allowed to transfer if they don't want to continue with Amrapali Projects. So the prospective buyer will come in, he'll have to pay the balance, whatever is the balance left. The allottee of Amrapali can recover whatever money he wants to recover from the prospective buyer. The receiver gets the transfer charges, which he will then use for construction. And overall, a genuine, belief that these projects are viable and some movement is there in these projects will be generated. So this is a welcome move by the receiver in order to bolster the consumers' belief in these Amrapali projects.
Right. And if the people who are in the project are the ones who genuinely want that house, it becomes a better bet, right?
Yes, yes. So there are people, see, what was happening is people were in dire financial problems and they were seeking refund. But because the court has not been entertaining any request for refund, in fact, every other day during the hearing, there's some application or other which is filed by some buyer seeking refund, and court has been repeatedly rejecting these applications for refund because there is no money in Amrapali's kitty. And whatever money, little money that is being generated is being used for construction. So therefore, people who are in big financial problems, some medical requirements, some requirements of marriage or education, etc., they have now an option to sell this if they get a buyer to sell their allotment now and recover their investment. So that is one big thing that has happened in these.
Has this begun? Have we?
This has become, yes, this has started.
Jayashree, I just want to ask one thing here.
Sure.
That the second buyer who is going to buy from the Amrapali buyer, will he be able to get the loan from the bank to buy that property? Means that, will he get also NOC from the receiver that he can take loan, because without NOC he can't get the loan on that property?
Yes, yes, sir. So what has happened is for people, if there is already a home loan going on that property, the present buyer will have a responsibility to inform his bank that he's selling it, and he has to take an objection, because if there's a home loan going on, then the property would have been mortgaged. But if a prospective buyer wants to take a loan and buy the property, as this hypothetical situation you are putting in, receiver has time and again requested the court to direct all the banks to entertain the applications of people who want to buy Amrapali projects or Amrapali buyers who had not taken loans earlier, and if they want to take a fresh loan now. Court has said that all these applications will be considered by the banks on their own merits as per whatever is the requirement, banking loan requirements are. So there is no impediment for this prospective buyer to take a loan and then go ahead and buy this flat. Having said that, this direction has not trickled down from the level of head offices to the respective branches, and that is why it is taking some time for the branches to start disbursing the money. In fact, this was one of the topics that the receiver raised during his meeting with the members of Indian Banking Association, which was organized by RBI, that all these banks should instruct all their branches to start disbursing whatever are the pending loans, and also start entertaining applications for fresh loans. So hopefully that will happen very soon.
Okay. I'm also going to go to KK Kaushal. Kaushal ji, what is the mood among consumers? Are there any queries that you want to raise on behalf of the consumers?
Yes, Mihir ji very nicely explained everything, and you are also aware and keeping even keep watching our case. So thank you so much for interacting such kind of sessions, so that home buyers can even uh, be aware what is going on currently. So after going through the entire scenario of Amrapali case, see, actually everything is going in very smooth way, and most of home buyers, even 99% home buyers, are happy, and they are thinking that yes, definitely we will get our flat. But see, Mihir ji just now explaining that the court receiver has given the permission of selling the flats, and even the switching option is open there. But so far as the flat selling is concerned, what would be the price, and who will decide, and what is the current price? If I am home buyers, I'm just discussing this as a home buyer, not individually. So this is a question of a common home buyer. So at this point of time, if somebody has uh, bought the flat in 2010, and right now if he wants to sell, so what would be the genuine price, so that a home buyer can sell his flat, right? So this
It's
is
a
the
market
point
driven, sir.
no, but this is not the open. What would be the price of per square feet? It would be 3,000 or 2,500.
जो
So who
बायर
will
जो देना
decide? And is it decided?
बायर जो वैल्यू देना चाहेगा वो प्राइस होगा उसका, ये
You're
तो कोई
right,
डिक्टेट कर ही नहीं
Prabhakar sir.
सकता.
Yes, so if I may just come in, this is a bilateral transaction.
Yeah.
So
And I let you a little more.
Yes.
So that you can
Yes.
explain in a detail.
Yes. Yes.
And see, there are a lot of unsold inventory. So NBCC or court receiver decided the price to recover the amount, so that that amount can be utilized in construction.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So may I answer now?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes. So see, insofar as this pre-registration sale is concerned, let's say, for example, the price that of the flat which the allottee had booked is say 30 lakh rupees. Right. The allottee has paid say 20 lakh rupees for that. 10 lakh is balance. Now this allottee has a buyer and he wants to sell this house or this allotment to that new buyer. Now, receiver is not concerned, court is not concerned the price at which this allottee is selling to the prospective buyer. This is an interstate decision between the two. The allottee can sell it at 15 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees, 40 lakh rupees. The buyer is, the court is not concerned, the receiver is not concerned. This is a bilateral transaction between the two. What the court or the receiver is concerned is that this balance 10 lakh rupees has to be deposited, right? So the price of the flat in Amrapali's records was 30 lakh rupees. 10 lakh was balance. 10 lakh has to be deposited either by the buyer or as in the prospective buyer or the initial allottee, along with the transfer charges. So they are only concerned with the balance amount. They are not concerned with the inter se price decided between the allottee and the prospective buyer. This is a purely bilateral transaction between the two. Right. So the per square feet price, as you said, has to be decided between the two parties. Court or receiver has no say in that.
The price at which you bought is available today, right?
Yes.
The price at which you bought is what the court receivers asked you to deposit.
Correct.
That's available. But
yes.
Sale in the market will be completely market driven.
Correct. So you can sell, so you can sell it at a higher rate and you pay the balance, whatever 10 lakh rupees is the balance, you pay that to the receiver. You can sell it at this 30 lakh flat to whatever rate of 40 lakh rupees. Keep the balance 10 lakh with you along with the money that you have already paid to the buyers, to the Amrapali group. That's entirely a bilateral transaction between the allottee and the prospective buyer.
Yeah. I've got a host of queries that have come for you, Mihir.
Yes, ma'am. There's another query Mr. Kaushal raised with respect to the unsold inventory.
Yes.
Right. Now, see, with respect to the unsold inventory, that's a separate thing altogether. NBCC has been given the right to deal with this unsold inventory. Now, the valuation is going on. The NBCC has to carry out the valuation of all these unsold inventories, present it to the court, and then the court will decide whether all these unsold inventories will be sold, or whether they will keep a part of this unsold inventory for swapping, because large number of people have applied for swapping. So it's entirely up to the court to then, after looking at the valuation, to decide whether they want NBCC to go ahead and sell the entire unsold inventory, or keep a part of it for swapping or for other purposes. So that decision is yet to be taken.
When will the valuation reports come in?
I think NBCC is going out with the valuation exercise. It will take some time because there are almost 5,000 odd flats, which the forensic auditors have pointed out in their report, which are unsold. So therefore, it is going to take some time.
Okay. Mihir, there was a 240 crore that Mahagun had to pay before March 31st, 2021,
yes.
right? For a plot of land that was sold, given to it by Amrapali. What is the status of that?
Yes, so they have deposited the first tranche of 35 crore in court. The balance they have to deposit by, one part or one tranche has to come by 31st December, and then the balance has to come by 31st of March. So that's on track. So they are depositing.
Okay. And there is SBI cap, which had earlier said that it would provide 625 crore for construction of Silicon Valley 1 and 2, Crystal Homes, Centurion Park Low Rise, Centurion Park O2 Valley, and Centurion Park Tropical Garden.
Yes.
Which is something 6,970 units.
Yes. So that one of the conditions in SWAMIH Trust Fund payment was that there will be a corporate body or a company, SPB, which will be registered. So that company has been registered now. It's the company's name is Aspire, Amrapali Projects Implementation and Reconstruction Enterprise. So it's called Aspire. The receiver during the last hearing informed the court that the company has now been registered. So I'm sure the work will start in these projects as well, because the funding will now come.
Okay, done. There's Kuldeep Munshi who has asked, what about the shortfall of funds if Amrapali assets are not sold, as no buyer has come for those properties sold through MRSTC?
Yes, see, there are issues, but we have been talking again and again. Every time we discuss, we discuss this topic.
Yeah.
So, see, there were issues with respect to the payment terms and with respect to availability of funds, etc., when DRT was trying to sell these auctions. And it is for this reason only now receiver is not going ahead and selling all these properties at once. He's learned from the mistakes that the DRT committed or problems that the DRT is faced. And he's given a action plan where he's going ahead stepwise. So he's choosing 3 or 4 properties, removing all the potential problems that the buyers may face with respect to payments, etc., seeking court's permission to go ahead with the auction, and only then he's going ahead with the auction. So we are hopeful that, and he's getting a large number of inquiries also. So we are hopeful that things will happen. If not, even if we assume the worst and nothing will happen, sale doesn't happen. Receiver is also in talks with the consortium of banks, etc., to use these assets as a collateral to raise funds. Now that the work has started in all the projects, I'm sure the court and the receiver will try their best to ensure availability of funds and to ensure that this work does not get stalled again. So I'm pretty confident that now the work has started and it will continue, and we will get all the constructions.
The mood of Mihir, the buyers, and everybody Since the first time we picked up Amrapali and the number of shows that we've held, I think the mood has changed significantly.
Right.
There is hope, there is money in the works. It's just a question of ironing out the problems before the money can flow and the project can go forward. And already some units have been, 240 units have been completed and handed over,
Yes,
right?
yes, 240 units have been completed. They've been handed over. The verification process for those is on. It is taking time for due to the pandemic, and also because large number of Amrapali buyers stay outside Delhi NCR, and they are not in a position to travel and bring their documents. So verification is going a little slow. But I'm sure once things normalize, even the registration will also happen at a much faster pace, and people will get their houses.
Here I have a query from Amrapali Grand. It's an old
Yes.
project, but
Yes.
that project was handed over. It's also been leased out. But the point is that the owners have not been able to register it.
Yes.
Can they sell those units also?
Yes, so there were other issues also. So, like for example, Amrapali, apart from Grand, had certain other projects in say Indirapuram or Greater Noida, or even in Noida, which are old projects and which were not stuck.
Yeah.
But because now the Amrapali promoters have gone and Amrapali, there's no one called Amrapali in existence anymore.
Yeah.
So people who had booked their houses in these projects don't know whom to talk to, how to get their possession, how to get the registries done. And it is because of this, on 21st of September, we had requested the receiver then asked the court, and court has now authorized the receiver to go ahead and register or hand over possession or register flats, even in those projects which were initially not before the Supreme Court.
Right.
But they belong to Amrapali, and now buyers in these projects also can approach the receiver's office and get their registries done.
Okay. So if there
I
is
would
buyer who wants to sell and a lottee who wants to sell, can it be sold as a transfer case?
Yes, if they have a buyer, then I'm sure receiver can entertain their request as at the pre-registration transfer stage also.
Sure.
But they'll have to apply to the receiver's office, get their documents verified, and maybe then go ahead with the sale.
So that is an answer to the various people from various Amrapali projects had been writing into us. There's another one. Ankur Mehta says our fresh loans allowed means transfer of loans from one bank to another.
Yes. So as I said, it is taking a little time. The receiver is in the talk with lots of banks. He keeps informing the court because all of us keep requesting him again and again to work on fresh loans.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the moment banks will start entertaining requests for fresh loans, they will also entertain the request for transfer or taking over the existing home loans as well. Only thing is the people will have to keep a little patience because banks are still not very confident and are also not very clear about the status of Amrapali. Because this is for the first time in the history of Indian real estate that they are dealing directly with a officer appointed by the court and not a builder.
Right.
So they are also a little hesitant or trying to understand the legal implications or trying to understand how to go ahead in these cases, how the tripartite agreement will be entered because there's no builder.
Yeah.
And it's only an officer of the court. So that's why it's taking a little time. But these are all lead some initial problems, which I'm sure will be sorted out in some time.
Yeah, there is another one about credit notes. This is something that Amrapali was riddled with, right?
Yes.
What about the credit notes for work not completed by Amrapali? How to claim that value? You have an answer?
See, insofar as credit notes are concerned, there is no way to ascertain the validity of these credit notes.
Yeah.
Also, there's no way to find out whether the credit, say for example, someone has got a credit note of 4 lakh rupees
Yeah.
in his flat, but the work that is to be completed in that flat is worth much more than that.
Yeah.
Right. And there is no way for Amrapali to give credit to of that much money because court is, I mean, there's no money. Right. So and court is trying its best to recover whatever is the amount which is due as per the original agreement. So as of now, even though there is no specific order passed by the court with respect to credit notes, I am sure the receivers committee has got lots of requests with respect to credit notes, etc. They are yet to formulate a policy with respect to credit notes. So people who have got credit notes will have to wait and watch for some time. Right now, there is no way to recover because there is no money available. There is no order also of the court. So maybe they'll have to wait and watch, and let's see what the receivers committee decides on that, and then what direction comes from Supreme Court on this. So we'll get to know about them in due course of time.
Then there's Rakesh Rastogi who says, we are worried about the structure as waterlogging was there in different towers since the towers are left open without any care. I think NBCC had given some assurance about the quality of work,
yes.
Right?
In fact, what had happened was, if you look at the original cost of construction given by Amrapali and the cost of construction given by NBCC, there's a huge difference. And the difference is only because the NBCC has taken into account the cost it has to incur to reinforce these structures which have been in open, prone to the elements for last 8-10 years. Water logging, rain, etc., without any cover, without any repair, etc. So this is the primary reason why there's a difference in the cost of construction. So NBCC has assured the court that it is going to look at the structural stability first, will first work to reinforce the structures, and only then will carry out the further work.
Okay.
So I'm sure NBCC will do the needful to allay all the fears that the buyers may have on this account.
On a similar query from Ani Day, who says, NBCC is currently doing external painting work in Silicon City, but not very satisfactorily. They are not even painting the external windowsills, claiming that this is not within their scope of work. What remedy is available to us as home buyers to get this rectified?
Yeah, so like for example, Silicon has a association.
Yeah.
So they can write to the, problem is with respect to projects where people were already staying is that, I mean, not too much money is supposed to come.
Yeah.
Right. And also that we don't know what is included in the scope of NBCC or what is beyond the scope of NBCC. In fact, one project offered NBCC to carry out the additional work at their own cost. And NBCC was willing to do that. In fact, they went to Supreme Court to take Supreme Court's permission to do that. Supreme Court said that that is entirely between the Association of Residents and NBCC.
Right.
And in court will not get into that. This is a bilateral commercial transaction. The court can, NBCC and the buyer should take care of that directly. So if there is an additional work not within the scope of NBCC, the association can talk to NBCC, reimburse whatever additional expenses that they may incur, and NBCC will surely take care of that. So they can approach the project director of NBCC. They can also request the receiver's office to put in a word. And if there is some work which is in addition to the original scope of work of NBCC, that can be taken care of.
Ani Day, what you have to understand is that today NBCC is working on behalf of the court receiver. They will work on the directions of the court. So whatever has been given to them, that is the amount of money that has been allocated to Silicon City. But like Mihir says, if you want more work done, it has already been done in another project. The residents pool in the money and ask NBCC to complete the entire work to their satisfaction. And this is something that the receiver can also help you out with. So ultimately, the quality of the work is something that NBCC is saying, yes, they will deliver you quality, but they will only do what is within the purview of their work unless you are willing to reimburse them and get the rest of the work done. This is the remedy that you as homeowners have. Ani Day also says there are many other unsatisfactory work done by NBCC, whom to reach out to and what is the remedy? I'm guessing the receiver, right?
Yes, they can talk to the receiver and inform him that this is the problem. In fact, receiver can arrange a joint meeting if of NBCC representative and the home buyer. They can point out whatever is the problem. And if it is within the scope of NBCC's work, NBCC will take care of that. If it is not within the scope of NBCC, buyers will have to reimburse NBCC for that additional work.
Right. I knew that there would be queries about subvention, and we have to address those. Corporation Bank Indirapuram subvention buyer को fund release नहीं कर रही है, जिसका NPA में है. Please suggest what to do and any feedback or order for subvention buyers.
Yes, so see, subvention, if you, on 29th of last month when the hearing happened, receiver raised the issue of subvention buyers and said that they have, because they form a large chunk of Amrapali buyers, and a huge amount of money has to come from subvention loan accounts. Therefore, this issue has to be sorted out by the banks. Receiver had suggested that banks should waive whatever claims they may have, which was to be paid by Amrapali, and at least waive that part for the time being. And they may recover that part at the end if any money is left after construction. The court has now asked all the banks to make their contentions on this to the court. Inform the court what is their stand. So this is going to take some time, but this will be sorted out.
But the good news is that it is being addressed, right? So, Govindraj, you should be happy that at least it's being addressed.
Yes, it is being addressed, yes.
Yeah, it is being addressed. There's Kuldeep Munshi who's come back after getting answer from Mihir from my previous question. To add to it, home buyers are paying due payment in advance. How can you ensure work doesn't stop midway for lack of funds, as no agency or banks are coming forward? Everything right now we are assuming. You need to bring confidence in the mind of home buyers.
Yes, so see, there are some teething problems. As I said, receiver is in talks with several authorities, banks, to raise funds. So yes, buyers are paying their money. Banks have now started disbursing, but I'm sure the court will take care of the problems that will come in the way of NBCC in completing the work. Buyers just need to have some patience and faith in the court. The work will get completed now.
Mihir, now there are many buyers who are saying, can we get timelines for these projects? Have the timelines been fixed? Are they available somewhere?
Yes, the schedule of construction was uploaded when the payment schedule was given on receiver's blog. So the timeline is there. The last flat that the NBCC has said, they'll complete the last flat by July 2023. In fact, now they have started saying that if monies are provided and there's no paucity of fund, they'll complete all the Amrapali. Yes.
So you just
yes,
have to.
I'm sorry. Mihir, if you allow me, I can ask
yes.
questions relating to. See, as Kuldeep ji has raised some questions relating to auction of property of Amrapali. And you are also very much aware about the auction of Amrapali property. See, this episode is going on last 2 years, and we have heard.
Mr. Kaushal, आपकी आवाज break हो रही है. Can you hear Mihir? Can you hear him?
No, I couldn't.
No, Kaushal ji, आपके इंटरनेट में प्रॉब्लम है. Once you come back, I'll give you time to ask a question. Mihir, Do
Yes.
buyers need to submit 100%? Buyers who have paid 90% also, do they need to pay now? This is
Yes, all the buyers have to pay. Yes, so there's no exception. All the buyers have to start paying. The only relief that the buyers have got now is that they can pay whatever is balance in 4 to 10 installments, depending the kind of projects that they are in. So if they are in projects where people are already staying, and as per receiver's blog, if these projects are there's not too much work, then they have to pay their balance, whatever is balance, maximum in 4 installments of 25% each. But if there are projects, say in Greater Noida, where too much work is remaining and the project is going to be delivered, say in 2022 or 23, then they can pay the balance in maximum 10 installments. But all the buyers have to pay. It's not as if only 10% is left. And with your agreement with, as per your agreement with Amrapali, you were supposed to pay this 10% at the time of possession. That clause is no longer applicable. What all the buyers have to start paying now.
Okay. And add-on question is, what should those buyers who are not able to arrange pending funds to submit before the deadline? Many of them, especially during COVID, have a problem, right?
Yes. So there is the deadline that the receiver has given is right now, till now, only directory. You should try and strive to try to stick to those timelines. But there is no penalty if you don't. So as and when you can arrange funds, you please go ahead and deposit. There is no order of the court that you will be penalized or you'll have to pay some additional interest or whatever if you don't stick to the timelines. The timelines have been given only in order to ensure that sufficient money is available to NBCC to continue the work.
Right.
But if you have missed the last deadline, then you go ahead and deposit and try and stick to the next timeline. The timelines have been given only for the sake that buyers remain cautious, buyers remain diligent in their in making payments, and there's no paucity of funds for NBCC to carry out the work.
If they're facing any problems, do they have to go to the receiver and explain the problems?
As I said, there is no penalty as on date. So you don't have to, you don't have to actually approach the receiver timeline right now. You can just try and arrange the funds as and when you can arrange. You will have to deposit. Only when the court imposes or says that no, now the receiver has to take some action, then maybe you will need to explain your delay to the receiver. But right now, there is no such order.
There's Rakesh Rastogi who says, what about rescheduling installments of Verona Heights? But you're not paying in installments, right?
No, I think what he meant was the 10 installments that the receiver has now said that you can pay your balance in 10 installments.
Yeah.
But then again, as I said, there's no penalty if you miss the last installment. So you please try and start paying now.
Okay.
What the receiver has said that you have to, pay your balance amount, that these installments are only for the sake of the buyers to be able to make their payments in a comfortable manner. And these are the maximum installments. So it's maximum 10 times. If you have money, you pay the entire amount in one go.
Yeah, right. Varsha Gauri Tandon says, ma'am, Dream Valley 2 में सबसे पहले कौन सा टावर्स का पोजेशन होगा और ये पोजेशन कब से स्टार्ट होंगे?
Yes, see, so the work has started. It is going to take some time.
Yeah.
All the towers, the work will continue. The construction schedule is given on the receiver's blog. She can go and check it out. But I'm sure by end of next year, the work, the deliveries of flats, even in these projects, will start.
तो वर्षा कुमारी जी, आप वर्षा गौरी टंडन, आप कोर्ट रिसीवर के ब्लॉग में जरूर जाएं, वहां पे देख लें, वहां पे स्केड्यूल्स लगे हुए हैं, और अभी अगर पैसा रेगुलरली आता रहेगा तो एनबीसीसी कहता है कि वो जल्दी से आपको डिलीवरी भी दे सकता है. They can ensure that delivery starts from end of next year, right?
Yes.
Okay. Nisha Kataria asks, can the list of authentic buyers be shared on the receiver website?
Yes, see, the problem with respect to initially the idea was to put on the entire list on receiver's website. But lots of people made a request that these details should not be made public for whatever reason, maybe reasons of privacy, etc. People don't want to, inform the entire world.
Yeah.
Right. So that is the reason why the customer data has now got the option of, it generates a OTP, comes to the email or comes to the phone, and you can only check your own data. Yeah. So it was all because of this that people made a request and asking the receiver not to make this data public.
Yeah, sure.
But she can go, but the buyer who asked you this question can go to the receiver's blog and check about her own unit. Right. She has no business to check about others, right? Yeah. So, I mean, she can check about her own data. There's no problem with respect to that.
Rajesh Sharma asks whether NBCC has taken in consideration the specification as per builder buyer agreement or project shall be carried out as per specification of NBCC. Is there a discrepancy between
No, there's no discrepancy. It is your builder buyer agreement which has been recognized by the court. Whatever your builder buyer agreement says will be completed. There could be a minor variation because of architectural purposes or engineering purposes of 5 square feet up down within the permissible limits. 5-10 square feet, which normally comes with respect to builder flats because of architectural reasons, but that's the maximum variation that may be there. But other than that, your builder buyer agreement is the one which will be complied with.
Okay. And there's Hema Arora who asks, where can we see who is getting the flats in phase 1? In the sense, each phase-wise deliveries up on the receiver's side?
So what has happened is this 240 flats that NBCC has now completed. The receiver has started informing the buyers that their flat is complete. They have been called to come to the receiver's office and get their documents verified. But right now it's only a limited number of flats. As and when more flats are completed and handed over for registration to the receiver's office by NBCC, they will put up a mechanism in which the buyers will be informed to visit with their documents and get those documents verified and take the possession. So there'll be a mechanism. Right now, she can go to the receiver's blog and check the delivery or construction schedule to find out the tentative time by which his or her flat will be completed. And then hopefully, because now they are also starting a process in which construction updates will be given on the receiver's blog. Mm-hmm. So once that happens, they can follow the status of their tower's construction and come to know exactly what is the status and when will they get their flats.
So actually, I would urge people to listen to what Mihir is saying and then ask your questions, because Hema Arora said, I've already paid full disbursed amount for Silicon City. When do I expect the flat in B Tower? She has to go to the receiver's site and check, right?
Yes. See, work is again going on. Silicon is a project where people are already staying. There could be towers where work is yet to be completed. But I'm sure, because these are the projects in which NBCC has said by June next year, they'll be able to complete these projects. So hopefully, given that the funding remains the same, she may get their flat latest by June or July next year, hopefully.
So Hema Arora, please keep watching the receiver's blog. वहाँ पे वो details दे रहे हैं. And also remember that your Silicon City should be completed, as Mihir said, by June 2021. Right? Yes. All units should be complete. Kuldeep Munshi has come back saying that some buyers have no record of their payments. Can't there be that record on the court receiver's website having all security features? It is not available on the court receiver's website.
See, the problem is this, that the data completely was was not made available by Amrapali people, right? And there's no mechanism now. Whatever data was given to the forensic auditors, that data has been handed over to the court receiver's office. They are trying to work with that data only. Right. So, and it is for this reason that they have on their customer data page, they have given the buyers an option to rectify whatever, if they have paid anything additionally. Obviously, they'll have to give the documentary proof of that also.
Yeah.
Right. So it is because the entire data was not made available. They are still, trying to find their way out of this mess. So this will take some time, but I'm sure this will be rectified.
And as consumers, Kuldeep Munshi, you should actually urge buyers to correct their data, put it up on the website, right?
Correct. So if there is some data which is missing or incorrect, it is the buyers have been given an option to correct it on the customer data page of receiver's blog. So they should go ahead and do that.
Satyendra Kumar asked, what is the date for the second installment in Dream Valley 2? Now, Mihir, I think what you should be able to tell people is where to check, how to check. Though you've said it, I think it's worth repeating again.
Yes, so you can go to the receiver Amrapali's website. It's receiver.amrapali.in. Okay. I'll be able to tell you. So there is a receiver Amrapali.in. Then there is if you go on that, there are certain instruction pages. There are certain
receiver Amrapali as one word.
Yeah, receiver Amrapali is one word. It's receiver Amrapali.in.
.in, like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and on that you have in publication and press release, which has a phase-wise construction plan proposed by NBCC given on that.
I've put it up here for those who want to know. Receiver Amrapali.in, publication and press release section, right?
Yes, yes. So all that, this has got instructions to home buyers, to banks, whatever other press release the receiver puts out, the list of buyers who have been verified and are ready for registration, etc. So lots of data is available. Buyers should go and keep checking this blog for the updates, and they'll get to know the status of their flats.
Okay, now there's an interesting query here. Pratik Ahuja says, buyers of Amrapali Leisure Valley were promised in builder-buyer agreement with ACs, wardrobes, and many other stuff. Now, NBCC is denying this. Amount given involves such facilities. Why not provide? It's in the BBA.
Yes, so if it is in the BBA, see, the problem now is NBCC is only a project management consultant, right? Yeah. So NBCC, I don't think is going to buy these wardrobes or maybe ACs and fridge and other equipment. What I would suggest is, if there is such thing in your BBA, then you should decide on that.
Yeah,
he will put it up before the court and take the court's instruction. If the court allows that these things have to be given, then maybe a bulk procurement exercise can be undertaken by the receiver and ACs can be bought and maybe fitted in. If the court says, sorry, buyers will have to let go of these things, we will not proceed, then receiver can't do anything. See, you have to remember, he's only an officer of the court.
Yeah,
he has been given some latitude in some things, but things like furniture and equipments and ACs, he can't decide on his own. What I would suggest the consumer of the court, that is what is to be done with respect to such builder-buyer agreements.
Satyendra Kumar has come back saying, but there's no revised date published for second installment for Dream Valley 2 on the site.
Yes, so there's no revised date, but if you see the phase-wise construction and the payment plan, it's basically it's 3 months. So what I would suggest the gentleman is that if you have the money, don't wait. You just go ahead and deposit. If you don't have the money, you want to wait, then maybe some time will be provided on the blog. Right now, because they are still receiving, lots of people have not paid even the first installment. That could be the reason why the second date is not yet given.
But
So
your
maybe
suggestion is that if you have the money, keep paying according to the
yes,
installment
yes,
date.
yes. So as I said, this is maximum 10 installments.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can pay it in one go. You can pay it in 5 installments, 7 installments, as per your convenience. The last date of the first installment was extended till 15th of September. The next date will surely be provided.
Mr. Kaushal, if you are back, would you like to ask that question that we couldn't hear?
Yes, yes. But now I hope you hear me, right? Actually,
Yes,
there was technical problem, right? So, Mihirji, I just want to add the point raised by Kuldeep Munshi, especially in case of every home buyers are ready and even they have started to pay their outstanding balance, right?
Yes.
But still, after going through everything on a right track, there is a lot of doubts among the home buyers, especially in case, see, as you earlier, you have also mentioned that if we think worst case of so far as the Amrapali property auction is concerned, in case the auction is not successful, so is there any roadmap, especially for arranging the shortfall of funds? Because in case of Amrapali, shortfall is a major issue, and even at this point, even court receiver is not able to give the clarity how they can arrange. Yes, SWAMIH fund and all, this is a way to arrange to maintain the liquid fund for a further period, but that even that fund also is not sufficient to complete the entire project. So the doubt is that in case all home buyers are giving their balance amount and the auction is not completed, then is there a roadmap with receiver or NBCC, and so that the entire project can be completed? I'm just talking about the worst condition.
Yes, I have understood your question. See, the problem is this. If you start linking your payment, the payments of home buyer saying that I will only pay if some auction takes place, right? If some properties are sold, and that should be the precondition for buyers to deposit further monies, then the work will definitely get stalled. See, these are two independent things. Buyers have to pay their balance, which is about 3,000 crores, considering both the money that is to come from the banks. The buyers have to pay a large chunk. So 3,000 crores takes care of some 10, 11 months or maybe a year and a half. Because every quarter they have said they needed about 500 crores. So about 6 quarters are taken care of if 3,000 crore is coming. And a large amount of flats get completed, right? If you look at the schedule, majority of the flats they have said will be completed by 2022, right? So a large amount of these flats get completed. Now all these flats, if get completed, will also get unsold inventory, which will be ready by that time, which will be easier for NBCC to sell them. See, NBCC there are 3 independent ways in which the receiver is trying to raise the funds. First is by home buyers. So home buyers have started depositing the money, banks have started disbursing. So that money is going to come. The second is by sale of assets and also by sale of unsold inventory and FAR. Now, FAR and unsold inventory are being valued right now. The auction process has started. Banks have, the first, as an experimental basis, one auction was tried to be done by 31st of October. But it was purely to test the waters. Now the court has looked into the action plan of MSTC. Auctions will start in truest manner or in real sense now. So that is second avenue. And the third avenue is also from IBA consortium of banks. Reserve Bank of India has been asked to appoint a nodal officer only for Amrapali to help the receiver to raise funds. So that's another way. And remember, this entire 8,000 crore, or maybe if you take out the PMC of NBCC, then 7,500 crores is only to be required in phases, not at one go. So everyone will have to chip in. It's not as if buyers will say, sorry, we will not pay, you first sell. Or the auction, MSTC will say, all right, I will carry out my auction only if the buyers will pay. Or banks will say, no, sorry, you first sell the assets and buyers should pay, only then we will finance. Everyone will have to work in tandem, right? So to have this fear that, all right, we are putting in our money, but what happens if auction doesn't take place? If that is the problem, if that could be made, is made the precondition, then definitely nothing will happen. Everyone will have to chip in. Everyone will have to take that risk.
Mihir,
as long as yes, sorry.
Is there any estimate that how much money could be raised from the sale of assets?
Yes, the total sale of assets will raise about 72 or 100 odd crores, sir.
So that will be sufficient enough to complete.
Yes, that is more than sufficient.
So 7,200 is very conservative amount, or it is the market?
Conservatively, it could be more also.
I also want to tell the home buyers that today, in the last, I would say the 3 to 4 months after COVID, we have seen that the volume of consumers who are looking for completed houses ready to move in has gone up exponentially. About 25% of, when we did the first survey in April, we found that about 65-70% people said we are not buying. By the time we came to July, that number had gone to 90% of people saying we want to buy. Now we have seen that there is a 25% extra buyers who were never in the market, who are new buyers who have come to the market. They've realized that mujhe aaj ghar chahiye. In a pandemic situation, I need the house.
True. And I'm sure Prabhakar sir keeps doing real estate stories with the incentives that the government has now offered.
Absolutely.
For for buying homes. Obviously, a huge sentiment has generated in people to buy houses.
And as your projects are completed, let's take phase 1 of whichever project you're talking of. Let's assume that there are 5 units left. वो 5 unit completed units है ना, वो units जब बिकेंगे, when they come into the market, whether through an auction, whether through the receiver, whether the bank takes it and says, I'll use it as my, I'll monetize that. Somewhere or the other, those completed units will reach the market, and the market is picking up completed units. There is immense need for those units. So I don't think that you should be worried about अगर ये नहीं बिका. जब यूनिट कंप्लीट हो रहा है, यूनिट बिक रहा है. आज के मार्केट में across the country, the number of completed units that are waiting to sell has started coming down, and these are all units that fit the consumer's budget. जो नहीं बिक रहे हैं वो projects हैं जो बहुत overpriced हैं. Amrapali projects were not overpriced. In fact, 45,000-48,000 units because they were in the right sweet spot, sweet budget.
I think underpriced, ma'am.
It is underpriced.
Yeah, that's what I want to say here. One thing, that once the project is nearing completion, the prices of all the flats will be much more than at what it was sold at the time of launch, and they will fetch much better price. And if it is 7,200 as per the conservative estimate, if the market improves, which is likely to be in the next 1 year or 2 years, the price that will come, the value that will come to the kitty will be much more. So by then, I believe all the shareholders or all the stakeholders, those who have property in that project, will get all those TV and fridges which they had promised.
Thing is that any stuck project, I have said this in practically every show, एक stuck project में आपका जो unit है, it is 30 to 50% of its intrinsic value. क्योंकि वो stuck है, it is not moving, and the value has dropped down to 30 to 50% of the intrinsic value. As the work has started, already the prices you know, the value has gone up. Prices have not gone up, but the value of that unit has gone up closer to its intrinsic value. As it gets completed, not only will it achieve its intrinsic value, it actually achieves more than its intrinsic value because it is a completed unit then. And at the time when this whole problem came about, the market was depressed. There were not enough buyers in the market. Today, the market is buoyant. For any end users, this is the best time to buy. If there are so many end users who are looking for completed projects, आपका project complete होगा तो उसमें ना बिकने वाली कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. ये आम्रपाली से नहीं आ रहा, एनबीसीसी से आ रहा है. It is monitored by the Supreme Court. There's a court receiver. The entire system is working towards getting this completed. I think you are, you know, you're letting the past reflect on today. What has happened is today you're in a much better position than you were in the past. And this is the first time ever in the world that a Supreme Court has stepped in and said, I'll help 48,000 buyers. You should be happy. You should be celebrating. In fact, let me just take the last, we're very close to another 5 minutes more in the show. There is, Satyendra Kumar has come back saying, in my opinion, if there will be any office set up, people will deposit their balance on time, as most people don't know online process properly. They want to deposit on time, but facing difficulty through online. Mihir, is there any facilitation?
No. Yes, so offline payments had also started. In fact, we received lots of requests. Initially, it was all online.
Yeah.
But the only thing is now that you still have to generate the challan on an online through the portal.
Yeah.
Because remember, initially there was an entire company or maybe like group of companies which had some 500, 800 people who were working only for the data crunching. And now you only have one person and he's employed some 5 or 6 people. Right. And it was only because of this online process was started, because once you fill in your data and you generate the challan, you can still deposit in an offline manner. The only thing you need to do is generate the challan through the portal, because this helps them in automatically storing your data qua your flat.
Yeah.
So it is only because of that you have to, they have started this portal process.
And Mr. Kaushal, maybe you and buyers like you can assist other buyers. This is something that this facilitation you can do for each other. There may be some who are older, who don't know the process. But if the buyers, since you have associations, maybe you can help each other.
No, actually, we keep trying, and even we have multiple groups. So through that groups, we bring aware such kind of information among the home buyers. But you see, the home buyers who raise the query right now that they need counter opening is also a genuine demand, because we feel, see, the person who booked flat in 2010 and who were living in even out of a station, and they are not a tech savvy, so definitely they feel the problem. And see, this is not a big challenge, and we have also demanded such kind of demand through court receiver, and they agree after some time they can open. But this is a very genuine demand, so that, see, at least one person they should deploy in every project, so that the person who wants to make their payment through offline or even through check, they can be effectively handled by them. So I think Mihir ji also should raise this demand to fulfill.
I'll request. Yes, not a problem. We can request him. See, the only thing, two issues. One is because of the pandemic. See, initially the idea was that NBCC has got 3 or 4 offices in different projects. I think one in Noida and 2 in Greater Noida now. So receiver will depute someone in these site offices from his side who will take care of the whatever queries the buyers may have in these project offices and sort them there. But because this pandemic came, everything got stalled. Now, as and when things normalize and things settle down, I'm sure we can request him once again to implement this initial thought that he had, and should not be a problem.
I'm going to take 2-3 queries because they're short queries. I think we shouldn't take too much time. There's Kuldeep Munshi who says home buyers are apprehensive that NBCC can raise the price of units citing different reasons. You need to install confidence in the mind of home buyers.
Not going to happen now. No,
That
see,
cannot.
prices are locked. See, NBCC can't do anything on its own.
NBCC is a contractor only.
Yes, your houses are being built by Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So neither the receiver can do anything on his own, nor the NBCC can do anything on their own. If all of them are answerable to the Supreme Court. Receiver is only an officer of the Supreme Court who's carrying out these projects or supervising these projects on behalf of Supreme Court. Your builder ultimately is the Supreme Court.
Right. So prices will not go up.
Yes,
cost of construction.
No, but Jayashree, prices of the fresh stock, which are unsold,
yes,
that will be sold at the market price. So their price will
the
go
current
up.
valuation. Yes,
that will be the current value.
Absolutely. Yeah. Then Kuldeep Munshi has said cost of construction has gone up. Mihir, just explain to us if you would like to just put that once more.
Yes. So see, the difference in the cost of construction is primarily because NBCC has said that they have taken into account the cost that they'll have to incur to refurbish or to work on strengthening the existing structures. So it is all because of that. So to ensure the structural safety, they'll have to carry out additional work. So that's the reason why. But whatever the cost of construction, even if it increases manifold for whatever reason, the court has made it very clear that buyer will only have to pay whatever is their agreed price as per the BBA. Right. If there is an additional expense, then that will be taken care of through the whatever money is generated through other sources. Buyers will not have to pay anything extra.
And who's responsible for maintenance after handing over of the project?
Okay, that will be normally in UP especially, you have a UP Apartments Act in which the builder after some time, after a certain level of occupancy, has to hand over the maintenance to the Resident Welfare Association. In Amrapali's case, you will have to make an exception. I'm sure the day possessions are handed over, there'll be a association which will be constituted. In fact, there are large number of associations which are already working in almost all the projects. So maybe all these associations will merge and there'll be a single apartment owners association which can then take over the maintenance of all these projects. In fact, in projects where people are already staying, they have already been given the responsibility of maintenance. NBCC is not carrying out the maintenance, neither the court receiver. It's only these associations which are doing this. They are collecting the funds and doing the maintenance on their own.
That's what law also suggests.
Yes. The only thing is that there's a gap between the time, but in Amrapali's project, that gap may not be.
Mihirji, the gap is only in those projects where the sale is less than 50%.
Yeah, that's true.
If the sale is more than 50%,
that's true.
Then buyer association should take over that.
Yes. So that may happen, and where there are more than one associations, all these associations can then merge, and one single association will be chosen by the
umbrella association can be
formed. So again, it has to be through elections. So whoever gets the confidence of the buyers will can then form the office bearers of that association and will take care of the management.
The last query for the day: will the NBCC give delay compensation after the projects are completed?
No.
There won't be any compensation given. The
NBCC is not involved at all. It is the receiver or the Supreme Court.
Buyers have to forget about delay compensation. No one is going to get any delay compensation. The only thing buyers should be thankful about is that their houses are being constructed.
Yeah.
NBCC, as Sir said, has no role. They are only acting as contractors on behalf of the court. Your builder is Supreme Court. If you can convince Supreme Court that you should get delay compensation, then it's a different thing.
Yeah.
But right now, in order to get delay compensation, you'll have to pay by lawyers. Okay, so to convince the court on your behalf, and but I don't see that happening at all.
Because right now the focus is on completing everybody's project.
Yeah, see, and there are other claimants also. See, remember, buyers are getting their houses at the cost of Noida, who still has the first charge over these lands, as per the original agreement, right? So buyer, Noida, Greater Noida, their dues have been pushed off. Banks' dues have been pushed off. Any other person, or there are a large number of people whom Amrapali owed money, and not the home buyers, who had invested and given, say, loans, etc. All their claims have been pushed off, and buyers have been given the first priority only to ensure that they get their houses. But if they start claiming delay compensation, then all these other people will say, sorry, we also are owed money. So I don't think delay compensation will happen at all.
Exactly.
I believe that Kumar Mihir has been the answer to a lot of people, because you have very patiently answered every query that people have raised, and you continue to do so. So I think Satyendra Kumar has come back saying our project will still have the Amrapali name associated with it, or the project name will not have Amrapali anymore once it's completed. I think
that name is continuing again. Maybe once at the end, the buyers by majority can decide.
Yeah.
Even though your builder-buyer agreement says that you will continue to have Amrapali name for all times to come, now that Amrapali is gone, you may request the court for change of name as and when the matter is about to come to an end. But that will only happen.
But I think right now you should focus on getting the house.
Yes, exactly. Once you get your houses, then maybe you can request the court to change.
Residents can change the name.
But Mihir, see, I would need some more clarity on agreement and all. See, you are saying so far as the price and the square feet and all the things will be considered by the agreement, right? But there is a delay penalty. So far as delay penalty is concerned, if builder is not delivered his flat on time, there is also mentioned in agreement that if flat delivery time is getting delay, the buyers will get the penalty charges and all. So what is your take on that? Because see,
your
Kaushalji, your builder has defaulted and is in jail right now. If you can recover, you recover from him. That is your responsibility. I mean, your claim qua the builder. So you will have to initiate another proceeding for recovery against him. You can't recover it from Supreme Court. That's the only thing I said. Supreme Court is just going out of its way, exercising its constitutional mandate to ensure that we get our houses. So that only to that extent Supreme Court will ensure that you will get your houses, but they will not give you a delay penalty, because more than you over the land, Noida has a better claim over these lands than buyers. See, your builder-buyer agreement also says this is subject to the lease the builder has with Noida.
Okay.
Right. So ultimately,
so it means the buyers who are defaulter or in some specific cases somebody has not deposited their amount, so they that kind of buyers will also not charged the delay penalty and all.
No. See, if that was the order, so people who have defaulted, for them Supreme Court has already given a deadline that they were supposed to pay whatever they had defaulted till 31st of October. If they have not paid, then court receiver has been given the power to cancel their allotments. So if you are a defaulter and Amrapali had raised a demand on you and you had not paid, I will suggest you immediately pay that default amount, because the order has already been passed with respect to those buyers. Right? Your allotment is in peril. So please ensure that if you have defaulted, then you clear all your defaults.
Okay, right.
And that's where I'm going to end today's session. Amrapali is not a project where I can stop the discussions. The discussions we will halt for now. As the next step happens, we will come back to you with more, with, of course, Mihir answering a lot of your questions. Thank you so much, Kumar Mihir. Thank you so much, Kaushal, for joining us. And of course, Prabhakar and I will keep bringing these shows to you again and again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, sir.